Okay, so I got a little bit more information about Sonya Massey's unfortunate story, and once again, I will continue to follow this story out until the very end. I watched the snuff film because that's what it was. It was a savage, unjust killing of Sonya Massey. On July 6 in Springfield, Illinois, a 36-year-old woman, she called for police assistance. She believed that there was a prowler around her property. And after the police arrived, 36 minutes later, Sonya Massey, she would be dead. Police cam is shown as the two white male police officers arrive to Sonya Massey's house at 2868 Hoover Street. You can hear it. You can tell that one of the officers, he's agitated, impatient. Officers look at the side of the home. They repeatedly knock on the door. Are you going to come to the door or not? Hurry up. That's what one of the officers said. That officer is Deputy Sean Grayson of Sangamon County Sheriff's Office. He is reportedly there at Sangamon County for over 1 year, the longest of his law enforcement jobs. He has been employed within 6 different law enforcement agencies within a 4-year period since 2020. Grayson also had been arrested twice on DUI charges in 2015 and 2016. When Sonya Massey opens the door, the first thing she says is, "Please don't hurt me." He responds, "We're not going to hurt you. You called us." It's explained to Sonya that the neighborhood and her yard were searched and they could not find anyone soliciting around her home or in the area, and there was nothing else that they could do for her. Grayson asks, "Are you mentally well?" Sonya responds, "I took my medicine." Now, you don't have to be a psychologist to know that something was very different about Sonya. Maybe she was nervous. Maybe she was scared. Maybe there was someone inside the home. Maybe she wasn't alone. Maybe she was covering up for somebody. Maybe. That would be the time now for Sonya Massey to tell the police that there was someone in her home, but there wasn't. Was she experiencing and answering basic questions? No, she wasn't. She was having a hard time answering these basic questions. She was having a hard time understanding. It was difficult for her. You can see it in the video. It was difficult for her. As she turns around to re-enter back inside her home, she tells them, "I love y'all." Now, there's a vehicle outside. Grayson actually is fixated on this SUV. So he tells her, "Is this your car?" She says no. He says, "Oh, someone left this in your driveway?" And he asks her about the dent, about the windows. And again, she's not really answering the questions clearly. So he asks her for ID. So she heads back inside her home. Now, once inside the house, there is flashlights shining on dark rooms. And yes, the home seems to be very cluttered, which is sometimes a sign of mental illness or just an untidy person. But besides her housekeeping, you could tell that she really was having some type of mental difficulties at that time. And no mental difficulties that was alarming or threatening. Like he said, "You called us." Now, police are not expected to diagnose mental or emotional conditions, but they should be able to tell if somebody is in a mental crisis or that somebody may be a danger to themselves or a danger to somebody else. And at that moment, Sonya Massey, she was not. As Sonya sits on her sofa, she's looking through a bag, papers, trying to find this license that she would later say she does not have. Someone calls her on her cell phone. She answers. She tells the caller that the police has arrived, and she tells them to hold on. She puts her phone down and she continues to look through her paperwork because she wants to show them some type of paperwork. We don't need a fire while we're here. There is a pot of water boiling on the stove. Grayson tells her to remove it. It doesn't seem to be a problem with her going over to the stove and removing the pot. If the officers felt that there was a problem, then why didn't one of the officers go over there and turn the pot off? Turn the stove off? It was simple enough to do, right? After the fact, though. Sonya picks up the hot pot and she cuts the oven off and she steps away from it, as well as the officers are stepping away from this steaming, hot, boiling pot of water. Then she says, quote, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." If you listen, you could hear the chuckles. Yeah, it's kind of, wait, what? Because he actually says, huh? Some people don't normally hear that every day, so you may be a little taken aback by that. She repeats herself, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Grayson responds, "You better fucking not, or I swear to God, I will fucking shoot you in your fucking face." Now, before I even continue, someone who may be suffering from a mental health episode, those words are vicious and harsh, are not the best words to use. How about put the pot down, put the pot in the sink, put the pot down, come back over here, and sit back on the sofa. Or I'm going to have my deputy come over to you and help you remove this pot. There is many things that could have been done, but Sean Grayson chose to do this his way. It's the way that I actually think that he wanted to do. That's my personal feelings. Because he draws his pistol and he aims it at her. She ducks and she says, "I'm sorry." Someone whose intent is to throw hot boiling water on you while you are at least, 3-4 feet away, I don't think they would say, "I am sorry." Now both other officers are yelling at her. They're telling her to drop the fucking pot. Grayson moves towards her and around the kitchen counter. He's already shooting. He's already shooting her. By now, he shot her 2 times in the face. He keeps shooting her and he shoots her in the head. Not opting to use his taser, despite there is no threat to him. And he has his taser on him. But he preferred the deadly force. The other police officer, now he wants to go and get his medical kit. Grayson says, quote, "Nah, she's done. You can get it, but that's a headshot. Just let her fucking, there's nothing we could do, man." That's what he says. That's what he says. Now the other officer, he goes and gets a towel. He leans down towards Sonya, and she is gasping. She's still breathing. Now Grayson wants to go and get his medical kit from his car. He comes back, but he still says there's nothing that we can do for her. And then he says, "I'm not going to waste my med stuff." That's what he said. He didn't want to waste his med stuff, right? The compassion of this cop. Doesn't want to waste his supplies. Now, an officer that employs deadly force is actually supposed to render aid. The perpetrator, he's actually supposed to render aid. Now, in Sonya's case, she wasn't a threat, so I'm not going to call her a perpetrator. She was a victim. She was a victim. She may have been going through, and it's been confirmed that she did have a few mental episodes, some mental issues, but she was not a threat to him. So for 2 minutes now, he's cursing, and again, there's no actions towards this woman at all. At all. Then Grayson, he's discouraging. He's discouraging his partner from doing anything anymore. Dude, I'm not taking fucking boiling water to the fucking head. And look, it came right at our feet. This is what he is explaining to the other officer. Look how this water is getting the front part of our shoes wet. And while this woman is bleeding out on our kitchen floor. So now Grayson is speaking with his law enforcement co-workers, I guess that's what you call them. He says this, quote, "She had boiling water and came at me with boiling water. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus when she came at me with that water." So now Grayson is feeling some type of way about himself, right? He says, yeah, I'm good. This fucking bitch is crazy. Interesting. You savagely murdered this woman. You made sure she was going to be dead. It was a headshot. You made sure that she was going to be dead. And you didn't even want your partner to render aid. You didn't even want that. You didn't want that at all. Your camera was already off from the minute you entered the house. However, your partner, he continued protocol. He kept his camera on. Grayson told dispatchers that this was self-inflicted. Even if you watch the ID channel or the CSI, if you do or you don't, there is no way that someone can shoot themselves twice in the face and once in the head. There is no way, absolutely no way. But Sean didn't know that. The lies to the family. A dispute with the neighbor she had. An intruder that left her for dead. They honestly tried to cover this up. Good thing, good cop kept his police cam still running. Because bad cop conveniently again cut his off. What was Grayson trying to do? Make the news, be a local hero. He saved him and his partner from getting their boots wet from the steaming hot water. Perhaps a GoFundMe to a wounded young white officer that reaches $500,000 in 20 minutes. What did he want? What was his intent? Why cut the camera off, Sean? Why lie? I actually believe if a cop intentionally cuts his camera off, unless you are using the restroom or you're on your lunch break, if you intentionally are on duty and you are going on a call and you cut your camera off, you should be automatically fired. The cameras are there for a reason. It's to protect the cop, but these days it's to protect who will ultimately become the victim. Rest in peace, Sonya Massey, and justice for Sonya Massey.
It's one of the worst police shooting videos ever.
State records obtained by CBS News show Sean Grayson, a 30-year-old former private first class in the Army, worked for 5 different law enforcement agencies in just under 3 years, before being hired by the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office last year. CBS News has also learned Grayson was charged twice with driving under the influence of alcohol in 2015 and 2016. He pleaded guilty both times. Ben Crump is an attorney for Massey's family.
Why was he even hired by the Sheriff's Department?
A DUI conviction is not a disqualification from law enforcement in Illinois. Today, some of Massey's family members accuse the sheriff's office of trying to initially cover up what happened. Now Massey's father is demanding Sheriff Jack Campbell resign.
I think it's a culture to treat this family this bad. If it were not for that camera footage, they'd have lied their way right out of this. So he needs to resign.
What took you so long to answer the door?
This comes a day after the release of body camera video revealing the moments just before Grayson shot Massey in the face.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
God, I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the talk.
You only watched a little bit of the video. You had to stop.
Yeah, I can't finish it.
Massey's 17-year-old son, Malachi, and her mother, Donna, say they're still in shock.
This can't be real. I don't know how this could be real. I'm sorry.
In an email to CBS News, Sheriff Campbell said he will not be resigning. Grayson has been fired from the sheriff's office. He's being held in jail without bond and has pleaded not guilty to the murder charges.
Here in Illinois, but across the country, and that includes from President Biden. He released this statement after the video was put out this afternoon. He said, quote, Sonya's death at the hands of a responding officer reminds us that all too often Black Americans face fears for their safety in ways many of the rest of us do not. And he continued, Sonya's family deserves justice. Jill and I will mourn with the rest of the country, and our prayers are with Sonya's family, loved ones, and community during this devastating